According to Jon Wilner of the Mercury News this afternoon, there is a quiet optimism and an approaching resolution to the Pac-12 media negotiations. Welcome to episode 240 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's get right to it. Jon Wilner's Mercury News article just released. Quiet optimism? Pac-12 media rights interpreting the latest comments from university presidents in a notable internal development. We have Peek Around the Corner. This notable internal development, we don't think it's all that notable. But put down your comments and thoughts in the comment section below the video. Let me know what you're thinking. The media rights negotiations began 11 months ago and seemingly are nearing an end. Finally, the Pac-12 Commissioner George Kliavkoff long ago went radio silent on the media rights negotiations, but the university presidents have occasionally ventured into the public space as the process churns toward its 1 year anniversary. 1 year anniversary. Holy smokes. Two of the top talkers, Arizona Robert Robbins and Washington State's Kirk Schultz, spoke publicly about the issue again this week, albeit under very different circumstances. Piece together their utterances and we gain incremental insight into the saga as it seemingly enters the home stretch. Robbins offers insights during Arizona's summit on the future of college sports in Washington, D.C. with two specific comments drawing our interest. Ask about Arizona's future conference affiliation, i.e. the Pac-12 or the Big 12. Robbins offered the following per Sports Illustrated, quote, depends on what our financial deal is. Ask about the future of the Pac-12. He noted, quote, my prediction is we are all going to stay together. So it depends on the deal, and his prediction is we're all going to stay together. Why might he believe that? Well, he could be taking a wild guess, or maybe he's aware of the all-important financial piece and is being coy. Or there's no way a president of a Pac-12 right now is going to say, I'm going to bet against us. He's not going to say that in public. I think that's what it is. However, this is Jon Wilner's article. Clearly, the presidents have not been presented with a formal written contract offer, but that doesn't mean they're flying blind on the valuation. There is room for nuance in negotiation deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, this is where we agree with Jon Wilner. We do think they have a sense of their valuation with the media partners, potential media partners that they're negotiating right now. And they've had it for months, and that is why some of them, especially the Four Corner schools, especially Colorado and Arizona, they have built themselves a plan B, a possibility to move into the Big 12 because of the sense of valuation that they've been given from media partners. So just for a moment, let's just step back from the weeds of realignment rumors and take a broader view. The Pac-12 has been at this for 11 months since the presidents authorized Kliavkoff to explore a new media rights deal in the wake of USC and UCLA opting to join the Big Ten. The presidents have verbally agreed to a grant of rights deal, a crucial step in the process. It binds the school's media revenue to the conference that they would never have taken if Kliavkoff is still trying to rustle up bids from potential partners. Now, this is where we absolutely disagree with Jon Wilner and John Canzano. This is not a crucial step. This verbal agreement, in our estimation, means absolutely nada, nothing, zilch, zero. There is nothing there. A verbal agreement on a grant of rights when you don't know what the media deal is yet, you don't have hard numbers, as Arizona President Robbins has been saying, means absolutely nothing. So if this is the internal notable progress that the Pac-12 has been making, according to Jon Wilner, we don't think that's notable at all. It means absolutely nothing. A verbal agreement when you don't know what the hard numbers are, nah. Back to the article. Our conclusion. Of course, the Pac-12 has a sense of the financial piece, for the length of the media contract, for the annual valuation for the network partners. And Klyakov has passed that information along to the presidents, at least in a general form. Which brings us to Schultz's comments Friday during the budget presentation to the Washington State's Board of Regents. The Cougars offered only projections for the Pac-12 media revenue starting in the 2025 year, the first of the next media rights contract cycle. And that makes sense because the Pac-12 doesn't have a signed media deal, and Schultz was undoubtedly wary of providing hard and fast budget numbers to the board before the signed contract. But Schultz also offered this comment about the media revenue. At least the projections Athletic Director Pat Shun and I and others have seen, I'm not sure that it will be a lot larger than we saw in the past, and it shouldn't be smaller than in the past. It may be fairly flat. It shouldn't be smaller than in the past. It may be fairly flat. If true, that would place the conference within the range of the Big 12's average annual valuation of $31.66 million per school per year, which has been the expectation all along. Maybe the Big 12 ends up with a slightly higher valuation. Maybe the Pac-12 does. Either way, the conferences are more similar than different, and neither is anything like the Big 10 and the SEC. Details remain sparse, the negotiations are complicated, and the Pac-12 has maintained an extremely tight circle. Only a handful of conference executives are versed in the specifics. Only a handful of conference executives. Well, that's why the Pac-12 presidents have been saying we basically have no hard numbers. We have absolutely nothing. Back to the article. We don't know exactly what Klyakov has shared with the presidents. Has he given them a valuation range of specific dollar amounts? Has he presented them with visuals or just relayed numbers verbally? Has he accepted the final bids, or are they due sometime this summer? Also, university presidents speak in a different language, whether they're answering questions from the media or presenting to their boards. The words and phrases they choose don't always translate well to the vernacular used on the front lines of college athletics and media reports or on Twitter feeds. But if we combine Robin's outlook for the Pac-12 future with Schultz's revenue projections and the verbal agreement on the grant of rights contract, it's reasonable to conclude that the process is nearing an end. Hallelujah, if that is correct. That Klyakov has seen the numbers, that he's given the presidents enough details to give them confidence in the financials, and that the central decision makers in this saga expect to stay together and agree to a media deal that will last the rest of the decade. Finally, in the article, is the Pac-12 future secure? Nope, not yet. This is realignment after all. The Pac-12 remains without a signed media rights contract. Perhaps the final bids are lower than expected. Perhaps one of the presidents panics. Again, the word panic. I do not like that word. At this point in time, after 11 months, you're talking about a president panicking and fleeing to the Big 12? 11 months into this, that's not a panic move. That's a reality move. Anyways, back to the article. Perhaps the final bids are lower than expected. Perhaps one of the presidents panics and flees to the Big 12, sparking an exodus. Perhaps an unforeseen event intervenes at the last minute and delays the process by many more months or detonates the conference altogether. Any outcome is possible. No scenario should be dismissed, but the latest clues suggest a quiet optimism in an approaching resolution. Jon Wilner stating there's a quiet optimism inside the Pac-12. I tell you, outside the Pac-12, most of us do not share that optimism. One of the big reasons why is because, once again, this morning here at Peek Around the Corner, we got a dose of reality from our Arizona State money perch. Arizona State people around Michael Crow are very angry in the situation that they are in. Arizona State wants to stay in the Pac-12. No question about it. Loyal to the Pac-12. They want to play with the peers in the Pac-12. But there is anger. Those numbers that the Pac-12 presidents have been receiving are not real formal offers. Not even close. Many of those projections that Schultz and others have been talking about, here Jon Wilner in the Mercury News article this afternoon, many of those offers overlap with the same content. So they don't really mean nothing. Once again, Robbins, Arizona president, he stated it clearly. We have not seen any hard numbers yet. So a verbal agreement on a grant of rights, an immediate deal that does not exist is not a notable, it isn't notable at all. So the optimism, we're not feeling it here at Peak Around the Corner. What is the deal? Whatever deal finally gets announced, it's going to be most fascinating. Remember, when you go down to the home stretch, often there's positive leaks coming out. People leak some information on this deal that's going to happen, and they spin it positive. There's been no spin. We don't have any leaks to what this media package is going to look like. Very odd situation. But it's going to be fascinating to look under the hood and see what this deal is all about. And again, in this Jon Wilner article, the focus is about money. Of course, money is incredibly important. Jon Wilner saying that it looks like the deal is going to be a little bit more or a little bit less in the Big 12. Once again, avoiding the all-important issue of visibility, of the media package that gives your institutions, the front porch of your institutions, the visibility to your student athletes, to your teams, to your sponsors. Yeah, so that's the problem here with the Pac-12. What we believe is the major problem with the Pac-12 media package that they're going to receive. We think they are going to get buried with exposure. The exposure is not going to be good, but we shall see. We shall see. Put down your comments and thoughts in the comment section below the video. Let me know what you're thinking here. We're going into the home stretch. Peek around the corner, Act 12. That's the one thing that we all agree on. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.